Hello, my name is WiVViCA. I'm the founder of the Global Peace Mantra Movement and the Iron Peace Movement. And I'm very happy to have a very special person today in my interview about peace. I'm very glad to have you here today. And I'm very glad to learn from you today as a human being, as a person I like very much. So we met each other a few weeks ago in Freiburg, in the Kailash House, Institut for Tibetan Medicine. And you translated the peace mantra in your language, Tibetan, for me. I'm very glad about this. And now I would like you to introduce yourself. Maybe where are you from, what's your mission, what are you doing, who are you, Tenzin?
Okay, I'll try my best. Well, my name is Tenzin Lodoe. I'm a Tibetan who was born in India to parents who had escaped from Tibet when the Chinese invaded our country in 1959. I grew up in India and studied in America and Europe. But right now I am based in Zurich, and I work for the foundation of the Gandhi Foundation of the Dalai Lama here in Zurich. And I also work as a life coach, and I specialize in emotions. And yeah, that's where I am.
You told me when we met each other, you told me that you're writing a book at the moment.
Yes, I'm slogging through. I'm writing a sort of not really a self-help, but sort of a short story that encompasses everyday emotions and in the context of emotions as explained in Buddhist psychology, and that's what I'm working on, and I hope to finish it soon. Yeah.
How long did you write?
Well, it's been a work in process. It's been a work in process for the past 1.5 years, and not a lot of writing all the time because there's a lot of getting in the material, the academic point of view, but also then filtering it down into ordinary human emotions, and then sort of starting an organic process where it comes out, and then it comes out as a first draft.
Yeah. Wow, I'm very excited to read it.
I hope I finish it soon.
It will be the right time, I think.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. So I told our guests now that you translated the mantra, in Tibetan, the peace mantra, and I think you know mantras very well, maybe, or in your culture.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes. And do you believe in the effect of mantra?
I think it depends on the person who's saying the mantra and the motivation of the person. Yes. Mantras in general are very common to Hinduism and Buddhism, and the purpose of a mantra is to protect the thought. So when you're saying the mantra, it protects you or protects your thought. So for instance, so in that sense, it's basically syllables that are condensed into syllables, a thought that is condensed into syllables, and it represents a self-talk that protects your thought. So I believe in it in that sense, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did the Global Peace Mantra with one vision. Because I thought people should look at the things they want to have in their life. So we think about what we don't want to have. We are fighting the whole time in our life and ourselves in the world. There's a lot of fight. But I think we should start to imagine what we want to put another thoughts in our head. So another visions in our life. So, and I am the peace mantra is combined with meditation. So you have to visualize how is the world in peace? How do you feel if the world is peaceful? How does it feel if your inner world is peaceful? So that's the meaning. And I believe that the issue of peace has become very important now because of the worldwide situation we have. And the first question I want to ask you is, can you even imagine a world of peace? And what does peace means for you, Tenzin?
Interesting question. Okay. Well, can I imagine a world of peace? Yes, definitely. But it really depends on the words we use. When we say the world, of course we live in a very big world, but it is very small these days because of science and communication tools and all of that, as we all know. But in a very realistic sense, we all have a different world that we live in. And we think the world is a certain way based on our understanding, our knowledge, our experience, and basically our worldview, how we see things. So in that sense, when there is a disagreement between two worlds, then the peace is lost, right? And what method we use to try to understand each other, in between countries, in between governments, in between, breaking it down to in between human beings, when there is a certain disagreement or miscommunication, what do we use to solve or transcend that miscommunication? So peace is absolutely possible if we have more understanding, more respect, and more honor amongst us. Then this very, very small peace between two human beings can become peace in the world. So that way, it is very achievable. That's my point of view. But again, if we look into human history, peace is something very rare, and we've always striven to have peace to the extent we fight and we make war for peace. And so this is incredible. It's very, very crazy, but we have done that, and we still do that. And so it is time that we really learn from our past mistakes and our very childish habits of trying to attain peace, right? Yes. So then in that global context, or the context of humanity, when you ask someone, how is peace possible? My understanding is that peace has to start with yourself.
True.
And true. Yeah, and how we start that is, peace is a state of mind. Peace is a state of being comfortable with who you are. And when you are driven by the idea of who you should be, then there is a struggle between who you are and who you should be. Then there is no peace. And very often that energy of, who you want to be takes place of the ego, where you kind of think, I am very important, I should have everything I want. And then you suddenly kind of lose the balance between your place in the world and the other person's place in the world. And then you don't have peace. So in order to cultivate world peace, peace has to be within you.
I'm very with you. Yes, I think the same.
Yeah.
And it's such a little sentence and such a big meaning, huh?
Absolutely. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't want peace. It's just, we have so much fear in trying new things. And those new things are very simple, basically, having more patience, being more open, and showing more love and understanding. And in some way or the other, there are many people who feel that being patient is a sign of weakness, or being understanding is a sign of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So those misconceptions, we have to educate ourselves and other people that being patient is a sign of strength. And nobody's perfect, so we need to be very honest with ourselves and work at it, and not trying to be too tough on yourself, but work at it.
Yeah. Are there situations in your life in which it's not so easy for you to stay peaceful?
Every day.
So good. I'm not alone.
Every day. And I think you have to accept yourself, or we have to accept ourselves in our humanity, and that we get disturbed, but and it's okay. The thing that really matters is you don't give up this quest for inner peace.
Yeah.
You keep on working at it, and you notice yourself sometimes getting onto this ego trip, or this impatient trip, and then when you realize, or someone close to you, a very good friend, points out that in a gentle way, then you kind of go, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, now back on my track. And I think this is the process of sustainable peace. You cannot have it like overnight. Everybody's a human being, so we have to continually work at it and have joy and the discipline to work at it.
So it's very important to have good friends and people around you that are honest, honest with you.
Absolutely, yeah.
On a kind way, of course, on a kind way, but give you the mirror maybe and say, hey, Tenzin, hey, Vivi, look in the mirror, hold on, just a minute, there's something. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the support system that you feel comfortable being vulnerable with, that you feel comfortable being completely transparent, and this collective vision, or this collective motivation of how to live a life supports each other, and then you have a collective energy that is very inspiring and very caring.
I think a lot of people are very afraid of being transparent.
Yeah, very normal though, no? Very normal. But being transparent is basically, in my opinion, respecting yourself.
Yes.
And to a certain extent, loving yourself, because you are not judging yourself. You are just open to how you are, to your very unique expression of life, and you don't need to fit into something else's, form. You just be yourself. Everybody else is taken, basically, and then that transparency makes you feel at ease with who you are.
Yeah. Tenzin, what do you do? What are you doing in these situations to get back to peace? Is there something you do if you realize, oh, I'm in anger or sad or something like this? Do you have some things you do?
Yeah. I mean, my kind of soft underbelly is my emotions, and sometimes I get too lost in my emotions, and that time I kind of go, okay, I'm in a place where my peace is being disturbed, and I kind of realize that, and then I pull out myself from that, realizing that these emotions are very precious, but again, that the emotions are not me. That distinction, that very subtle distinction. And I think it's the same with any form of emotion. When it comes, you not have to be, but if you can be, to watch yourself and to see the emotions being a little bit different from who you really are. And then that way you are not drowning in those emotions, but yet you are aware of it, and then you are working with it.
So
easy to say, but it takes practice to really kind of master that, right? Yeah.
That would be my next question. Is there anything you do every day for your inner peace? Do you have something you do every day, maybe?
Well, yes, it's as a Buddhist, meditation, awareness meditation. Like when you all came up to Freiburg, when I was at Kalash House, I was leading these awareness meditations. And when you lead meditations, I don't know how beneficial it was for the people who came to the meditation sessions, but as the instructor, you have to really dig and kind of think, okay, how am I going to help these people in the most maximum way for this 1 hour? And then throughout, you draw from all the experiences that you've had in life, and then you try to show the new people, how this is done in terms of being aware of your body, aware of your emotions or feelings, then aware of your thoughts, and then of course the awareness of everything around us. And that I try to do every day, and that keeps it in perspective. And the key thing that I really try to start the day with is not to see the world with the lens of what do I not have or what do I want, but to see the world from the point of what do I have, what am I grateful for, and to start the day from a point of gratitude.
Yes.
And that puts a lot of peace into the day.
Yes.
Not a lazy peace, not like, okay, I'm fine, I don't need to work, I don't need to improve myself, not that, but you start from a place where it's real and you have so much confidence and joy for what you're doing. And I think that process of starting the day or ending the day with that thought brings in a very realistic sense of yourself.
I think gratitude is very important, very, very important.
Exactly.
Because living in our world here, in the Western world, a lot of people think they have to have more of this or more of that or being better, and to hold on and feel and think, what am I grateful about? Is it right? It's my first interview in English, I told you so.
You're doing fine.
I think it's very important to be happy about all the things we have, and we are alive. Oh, it's a wonder. It's beautiful to be alive. And there are flowers and the sky and the sun. There's always something we can be happy about. Huh?
Absolutely. And I mean, you put it saying that in the West we have this, but in the East also it's the same situation.
Okay.
It's the same human situation. If we're not careful, then we become machines where our brains or our minds are totally controlled with this need to have more.
Yeah.
And then this makes you sort of a machine, a slave, to basically wanting more. And there might be people who are happy with that. I doubt it, but there might be. I cannot rule out that. But it seems a very endless process of self-enslavement.
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing, this wanting more and more and more. I think maybe it's a big problem. It's a big, I don't know the English word now, but I think war comes out of it. Small war, big war, wanting more and more and more and more. And yeah, when I look into the world, I think it's a very big point of war. Reason of war.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely think, as His Holiness the Dalai Lama always says, that war is outdated, and I believe in that. war gives very short-term solutions at the cost of a lot of suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And whoever is more powerful may resort to war because they just can. But if you take that model, then it is basically, validating bullying, where a stronger person bullies a weaker person, and that strong or weak translates into society, into, men treating women in a disrespectful way, because biologically women's structures are weaker than man's. Or in any kind of workplace situations, you have many different translations of war. And it basically stems from, I am more powerful in a certain way, so I can do whatever I want to. So that cuts out the basic fabric of what is beautiful in humanity, that is respecting each other and respecting different opinions and different ways of living,
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we have learned anything from the past centuries of what we call development or evolution of humankind, what stares at our face very, very clearly is, we don't need war anymore.
Yes. Yes. I think there is that common thought, the strongest will win, or it's about Darwin.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe it's not right. Because we are one collective, one earth, one planet, one system. So maybe it's more like a circle, thinking in a circle.
Right.
Everything I do, I think, I feel, does something with the other person, and the flowers and the nature, everything is connected to each other. And if we act like this, maybe there's more peace. If we let go the thought, the strongest will win.
Yes.
Maybe it would change a lot in human mind.
Yeah, I mean, the human mind is so full of potential.
Yeah.
But also the human mind needs a structure or an ecosystem of education and bringing up, So
Yes.
I think till now, our schooling systems have, emphasized too little on qualities like compassion, creativity, love, understanding, clear communication. And when it is not given the place, when these qualities are not given the place or not given the emphasis, where children kind of go, I want to be the most patient person when I grow up,
Yeah.
And when that happens, then we truly have a chance at sort of like a peaceful revolution.
Yes.
Because till now it's like, what do you want to be? Okay, I want to be rich or famous, which is fine, I'm not trying to judge this, but if we have principles of, I want to be the most patient person, or if I want to be the most, what do you call it? The champion of peace when I grow up. And if these values are emphasized and you have competitions for that, or you have open essay competitions or whatever you call it, then the younger brains, younger minds will have this ecosystem to grow into that and not feel like an outsider or someone who's belonging to, whatever, as mainstream people call it, some like a, on the side thing, who's not in touch with reality. I think these things we have to slowly really rethink our policy as human beings.
Yes, I think it's very important. The children, the school systems, there is a lot of change needed. So maybe we could ask children not what do you want to be. We could ask them, who are you? And just listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Exactly. And also through example, children look up to adults. Children, choose, particularly at a certain age, they're very impressionable. So what information is available to them? If you feed all kind of commercial, money-driven ads to children in the TV on the iPhones, wherever, then the chances are, when you're flooded with so much of that kind of information, then your behavior is also going to slowly be influenced by it. But if we make a concerted effort into, exposing the next generation or exposing the children to a different way that is possible, we have bigger chances of having more peace collectively on this earth.
Yeah. You talked about Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something like a Buddhism attitude on peace? Something?
Yes. Fundamentally, Buddhists hold very precious the theory of interdependence. That is the theory part, where everything arises because of another cause. There is not one cause, but everything comes up because of other causes. That's the theory. And the practice is non-violence. So non-violence becoming the core of the Buddhist practice basically says, if you can't help someone or you can't help something, don't hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
So non-violence is the primer for a proactive peace.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is at the core of the Buddhist life.
So I say, if you can't help, you can pray, or sometimes
Yes.
you can help. Sometimes you can help. You can give someone food if he is hungry and you have food. You can share, or. But there are things in life you feel like so small, and you think, what can I do? I can do nothing at the moment. But I think we can meditate. We can visualize. We can pray. So I think people should know how strong these things are. Prayers and meditation and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's different levels of understanding prayer.
Yeah.
And prayer is basically an action of the mind, right? And there's the action of your speech, what words you say, and the action of your body. So from a Buddhist perspective, these three actions you can use, or you use every day. You may not be aware, but what you think, you slowly become what you think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, prayer is very strong. This intense wish to have more peace or help other people. And this primes your human being into an instrument of peace, slowly and slowly.
Slowly and slowly, yes. Mm-hmm. We have to learn that.
Exactly, yeah.
We have to learn that. I think it's our nature. To think in circles. I think it's like thousands of years, the wrong thoughts, the wrong ecosystem, you say, the ecosystem is not the right.
Yeah. It's from the way I see it, I don't like to see it as wrong or right.
Yeah, that's why I did this.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's a similar way of thinking. It's like you cannot raise penguins in the Sahara Desert.
Mm-hmm.
It needs an ecosystem where penguins can grow, and that is a cold kind of ecosystem. So we have to create that ecosystem where, if we want a certain culture to thrive and to give equal importance to the way of thinking and the dependent culture that is needed, we need information. And that information has to be freely available, not prescribed, but kind of offered. Not, here, you take it, you take this, you learn this, not that way, but say, this might be of some use. Have you considered this, something else, Yeah.
Tenzin, what do you think the religions of this time, what could they do for more peace in the world? What could they offer now?
Now you're asking sensitive questions. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, religion, the purpose of religion, in any religion, I think, as the founding fathers or sisters or mothers of all these religions, they meant it to improve the quality of life for human beings, to sort of bridge the gap between the very physical world and the unknown, higher world, right? I mean, that was the motivation for most of the religions.
Yeah.
But men or human beings have this tendency to use anything and change it to make their own kind of ambitions fulfilled through that system. And I think we have so many instances in world history that where you see that religion has been abused for political purposes. And in the 20th century, 21st century, we have a situation where so many people, when they hear the word religion, they kind of go, oh, that's something I need to be careful about. Yeah. And this is based on evolution.
Yeah.
But, I've met a lot of different people who belong to different religions. And at the core of it, if someone really believes and lives according to what is written in those books or their tradition, you find them very similar. They're very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, you have fundamentalists who, I think I can fairly say all fundamentalists belong to one religion.
Yeah.
They will get along. I don't know whether they will get along, but in my mind, all fundamentalists belong into one religion. We have Buddhist fundamentalists, we have, all different kinds of fundamentalists, and they are a breed of their own. But what is the role of religion today? It's much smaller than what it was before.
Mm-hmm.
It's much smaller. And in a way, it is sad because from the point of view of the people who started this, it was supposed to be something that added more flavor to our lives in the sense of a connection with, as I said before, with God or, the unknown, mystical.
Yeah.
But if you have a pure heart, if you have a kind heart, I really don't think religion can replace that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
It depends. Some people might find religion very important to arrive at that place of having a kind heart, a resilient human spirit where you want to achieve, goodness for other people, including yourself. But some people don't need religion to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And it really depends. Some like rice, some like chow mein, some like ice cream. So it really depends on different kinds of people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I think a good way of life is the way of heart, huh? Feeling and giving and listening and being human.
Absolutely, absolutely. Leading an honest life.
Yes. Yes. So due to the current global situation, many people are afraid, I think, at the moment. Is there anything you advise them to feel better and become more peaceful with themselves and the world and the situation outside?
Well, I can't tell people what to do, but I'll tell you how I try to manage the situation.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of disruption. There is a lot of new pain because of this disruption. But it is up to me if I want to allow this pain to be suffering. You see what I mean?
Yes.
There's a lot of change, and there's a considerable amount of information, misinformation, fear, how different regulatory systems, governments are reacting or, going for this in order to make things better. But again, on the same level, there are a lot of doubts whether what governments are doing are enough or trustworthy on the different kinds of vaccines that are coming. Are they good? Are they really good right now, but may they have bad effects on people? I mean, there's so much of questions, and to have kind of a compass to lead through this, that's the tough part. The tough part is what to trust.
Yes.
So I think that is the key thing these days, where people need to take their time, need to really reason out, collect the proper information, and then go with the fearlessness, without this fear. Because when we are afraid, or when we live in fear, then we become paranoid, or we become only sensitive to bad news, and our sense of, liking something or not liking something gets enlarged so quickly, and then we become really, in a sense of like a zombie-like state,
Mm-hmm.
So to remain optimistic, to believe in yourself, and to act accordingly in the local way and the global way, like where you kind of, think globally but act locally. That's what I tell myself. I wear my mask when I go because I need to. And I don't know whether without wearing a mask I will get infected or not. That I don't know, but I wear it because I don't want to be fined by some civil authority. You know what I mean? And there are so many things that could be worse. And I always try to remind myself of how worse it could be. And being a Tibetan, in our very recent history, when we lost our country, on a political level, yes, a nation lost its independence, and other nations might really be empathetic or not, depending on their situation. But for us Tibetans, losing our country and the subsequent losses to all the different families at different structures, that was a big loss. And to deal with that kind of loss and come back on your feet and regain your voice and your own dignity, when you have survived that kind of thing, then when things like Corona come up, for us, we have a very recent thing in our collective memory that we kind of go, we survived that, we're going to survive this, So that way, it's scary, but it's not suffering. Yeah.
But how can they do that?
Ooh.
Do they have maybe one technique, one sentence, I don't know, something they can take with them? Something they could do after this interview, they could practice, or...
I don't know, because of this Corona, there is so many strong opinions.
Yeah.
And I respect all the opinions that I hear, right? And I'm kind of going, wow, that's rather strongly opinionated about this or that. And I really cannot say what people should do. I mean, they have their right to believe in whatever they believe in. And we live in a society where individual opinion is respected, is treasured, and that it has to be voiced, definitely. But again, then the question is, when different opinions arise, how do we deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
How do we deal with that? Do we just kind of ignore the minority, or do we use force to shut them down?
Mm-hmm.
And in that process, we learn so much more about where we live. And that is an opportunity, because differences of opinions always going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, because of Corona, because of the restrictions, because of so much of a disruption to our lives, emotions are very strong. And the skin of these emotions are very thin.
Mm-hmm.
So you scratch a little bit and volcanoes start coming out.
Yeah, it's like that.
So for all of us, whatever we believe in, we have to be very sensitive of the big picture, and to really check, beyond today, how is this going to affect tomorrow? And then, because we live in democratic countries, we have to really respect the democracy that we live in, and utilize this opportunity for today, and transcend our own lives in a certain sense, because we are setting a precedent on how we deal with these kind of situations. I think that's the opportunity here.
Okay. Okay. If you would say one sentence said in, or one word or two sentences, what is the key to peace, Tenzin, in your kind of view?
Key to peace?
The key to peace, yes.
Key to peace is really good wine.
Yeah. Very good answer, Tenzin. Good. Red or white, huh?
Always red, always red. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that's a $1 million question.
Yes.
Key to peace. It's organic. It's organic. I don't think there's a thing called one t-shirt, one size fits all, you know? It really depends on how you think, how you were brought up, what do you do. It's just so many different flavors that make you so unique. But how you find that peace, the first step, I truly believe, is that you have to accept who you are and be comfortable with who you are. Not try to be someone you're not. Develop a healthy sense of self-love. And by that, I don't mean indulge in pleasures or things like that. You know, I really mean, you know, adopt a way of discipline that is organic for your own growth. You know, have some purpose in your life. That is, you know, that comes from you and not prescribed by someone else. And then slowly, all these coming together day by day, then you feel a certain sense of fulfillment, where you are aware of who you are and you are at peace. And you realize, okay, there are certain things where you need to work on, and not try to be too hard on yourself. Believe me, I'm very hard on myself, and this is where I work, you know. And you just have to be gentle with yourself and give time and make it a joyous process. And then in that process, not in the arrival of the destination, but in that process, in that struggle, you find the peace.
Yeah. Thank you, Tenzin.
Welcome.
So at the end of the interview, I would like to invite you to sing the Global Peace Mantra with me. Just one time in English. Would you do that?
Sure, okay. I'm a terrible singer.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And before I sing it, I connect with the vision of peace, or the feeling of peace in my heart. So maybe you have a little moment silence, and then just start one time to sing, or 2 times, or 3 times. Okay.
Okay, I'll try my best.
The words are, I see the world in peace. I am peace. I am. I see the world in peace. I am peace. I am. I see the world in peace. I am peace. I am. I thank you for that interview.
Most welcome.
I think there's a lot to learn for everyone, for every human being. So I think peace is not something you do like this. Or
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, and you know, sometimes we have bad days. Then you fall, and then you get up, and then you continue, Yeah. And, I think that's the only way to go, you know. Yeah.
Thank you, Tenzin.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Pleasure.